What if I told you that a renowned ethical hacker just discovered classified NASA images that show something existing before the Big Bang itself? Images so shocking that NASA buried them deep in encrypted files, hoping they'd never see the light of day. So what might these images unveil? Could they point to a scientific breakthrough, evidence of advanced phenomena, or insights far beyond our current knowledge? Get ready for a journey that challenges the very foundations of science and reality. Just days ago, Ryan Montgomery gathered a select group of cybersecurity experts and researchers to share a discovery unlike anything they had encountered before. With calm certainty, he revealed, "I found images from before the Big Bang, files NASA never intended to be seen." The room fell silent. These were not casual listeners, but seasoned professionals who had worked with Ryan for years, fully aware of his disciplined methods and integrity. For him to make such a claim meant the evidence demanded attention. Ryan described how he uncovered a cache of encrypted files buried deep within restricted networks. The complexity of the security layers alone suggested that the material was meant to remain hidden. Yet once accessed, the images inside challenged the very foundations of science. Among them was one breathtaking frame, a vast figure composed of billions of stars, arranged with extraordinary mathematical precision. Its fractal-like patterns echoed the structures found throughout nature, as though an intelligence far beyond human comprehension had imprinted order on the cosmos itself. This was not chaos or coincidence. It looked purposeful. As Ryan's colleagues studied the evidence, the implications became almost overwhelming. If authentic, the images suggested the existence of technology capable of observing realms beyond our known universe, perhaps even before the Big Bang. Such a possibility raised urgent questions. How long had these discoveries been withheld? What kind of instruments could capture such perspectives? Importantly, what truth about our cosmic origins were we on the brink of uncovering? This video explores Ryan's extraordinary findings, his credibility as an ethical hacker, and the astonishing implications these mysterious images carry for our understanding of existence. In today's digital world, where extraordinary claims can surface at any moment, credibility is everything. When someone presents evidence that challenges our deepest understanding of reality, the first question is always, why should we trust them? That's why, before examining Ryan Montgomery's astonishing discovery, it's important to understand who he is and why his voice carries such authority in both cybersecurity and scientific circles. Ryan Montgomery is not an internet figure chasing attention. He is recognized as one of the most respected ethical hackers in the world. In cybersecurity, expertise is measured by skill, results, and integrity, not popularity. Ethical hacking itself is a discipline where specialists apply advanced knowledge to strengthen digital defenses instead of exploiting them. And Ryan has dedicated his career to that mission. As the founder of Pentester.com, Ryan has helped shape the field of penetration testing, a process where professionals simulate cyber attacks to identify weaknesses before real criminals do. His company has worked with major corporations and government institutions, reinforcing their security against ever-evolving threats. Beyond business, his role as Chief Technology Officer at the Sentinel Foundation reflects his commitment to humanitarian work. The foundation focuses on child safety and the fight against human trafficking, areas where Ryan and his team have played a direct role in identifying predators and supporting law enforcement to bring offenders to justice. This is not theory, it is real, life-saving work in some of the internet's darkest spaces. Ryan's technical expertise is equally undeniable. On TryHackMe, a global platform used by cybersecurity professionals, he has consistently ranked #1 worldwide, a testament to his ability to navigate advanced systems, solve intricate security puzzles, and uncover information others cannot. This ranking is earned strictly through demonstrated skill, not reputation. Over the years, Ryan has discovered vulnerabilities in high-profile systems across industries and governments. What distinguishes him is his ethical approach. Rather than exploiting weaknesses, he responsibly reports them and collaborates with organizations to resolve them. This commitment has earned him trust at the highest levels and access to sensitive systems that only a select few are allowed to handle. Ryan's career shows not only technical brilliance but also responsibility, integrity, and a dedication to protecting others. These qualities make his recent discovery all the more compelling and impossible to dismiss. Ryan's work as an ethical hacker goes far beyond corporate offices and government contracts. His expertise often takes him into one of the most misunderstood and complex areas of the internet, the dark web. While commonly associated with illegal marketplaces, the dark web is far more than that. It's an encrypted network accessible only through specialized tools like Tor, which layers encryption to preserve anonymity. Though widely used by journalists, activists, and privacy advocates, it also shelters illicit trade, secret communications, and sensitive data exchanges. Within these networks, ethical hackers like Ryan act as digital watchdogs. They sift through enormous amounts of information, separating credible intelligence from disinformation, hoaxes, and staged content. This work has led to the exposure of human trafficking rings, security flaws threatening critical infrastructure, and evidence of corporate misconduct that would otherwise remain hidden. For Ryan, it's not about stumbling across content but about knowing how to verify it, trace its origins, and determine its significance. As he often says, the real work starts when you figure out what to do with it. Ryan has spent years refining this ability, developing the technical and analytical skills to navigate encrypted environments effectively. His approach is systematic, disciplined, and grounded in ethical responsibility, qualities that set professionals apart from curious explorers. It was during one of these methodical deep dives that he encountered something extraordinary. At first, it seemed like a routine investigation into a restricted server buried within an encrypted marketplace. Accessing such material requires advanced skill, but within the boundaries of ethical hacking when conducted with proper agreements and oversight. The server looked typical, filled with corrupted files and fragmented data. But within that noise, Ryan found a data set labeled simply NASA export. To most, it would appear meaningless, just another forgotten file adrift in the endless clutter of the dark web. What caught Ryan's attention wasn't the name, but the metadata inside. Timestamps, technical references, and embedded keywords painted a very different picture. The deeper he examined it, the clearer it became that this was not ordinary data at all. It was something deliberately buried, preserved behind layers of encryption, carrying implications far beyond what its plain label suggested. Did you like this video? Don't forget to hit the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me out, and I promise to bring you more awesome content. When Ryan Montgomery finally revealed his discovery to a small group of trusted colleagues, the weight of his first words silenced the room. According to those present, he stated plainly, "I found alien photos on the dark web NASA tried to hide." And they lied. They lied about everything. The atmosphere grew tense as Ryan began opening the encrypted files. His fingers moved with practiced precision, navigating layer after layer of digital security barriers that confirmed these files were never meant for public access. When the first image appeared on screen, one colleague audibly gasped. Ryan pointed to markings in the frame. "This is from 1987, he said, noting the clear NASA facility identifiers visible in the background. The sterile lighting and scientific equipment suggested a clinical setting, but the subject on the table defied all conventional classification. Ryan highlighted the details: an elongated torso, almost 1.5 times normal human proportions, and a head so large it comprised nearly a third of the body's length. The features suggested intelligence, yet followed an evolutionary trajectory unfamiliar to humanity. Most striking of all was the being's skin, a faint bluish luminescence that persisted under harsh medical lighting. It was not a trick of exposure but appeared to be a natural trait, evidence of biological processes unlike anything known on Earth. A measurement scale indicated a height of roughly 4 feet, smaller than an average human but with proportions that implied refinement, not fragility. The methodical way the photographs were taken, angles, lighting, and documentation suggested this was not a single encounter but part of a structured study. Ryan then advanced to a second series of images, labeled Site 23 documentation and dated 1991. The reaction was immediate silence. Unlike the first set, these photographs did not focus on biological subjects but on technology, specifically a triangular craft with curved edges. Its structure seemed to contradict the principles of known aerodynamics and materials science. What captivated the group most was the way the craft interacted with its environment. "Watch the light," Ryan directed, pointing to how its surface reflected and absorbed illumination at the same time, producing visual effects no known material could replicate. Observing it directly was disorienting, almost as if the object existed slightly out of phase with ordinary reality. The implications of these files were staggering. Between the clinical documentation of a non-human subject and the evidence of technology far beyond current human capabilities, the material suggested not an isolated incident but a broader program of research, carefully hidden, meticulously recorded, and never intended to be released. Then came what Ryan reportedly called the smoking gun, the evidence that, in his words, was impossible to hide any longer. Unlike the static photographs of earlier decades, this was 2002 surveillance footage, moving images that showed not just a subject, but interaction. The recording displayed a being nearly identical to the one documented in 1987, now engaged with human researchers in what looked like a controlled laboratory environment. Its luminescent skin pulsed rhythmically, the patterns resembling deliberate signals, as though the creature were attempting to communicate through bioluminescence. What stunned the group was the clear cooperation between entity and researchers. This was no passive specimen. It moved with intent, manipulating instruments and displaying an apparent familiarity with human technology. The tone was not of captivity, but collaboration. Ryan, known for his rigor as an ethical hacker, reminded his colleagues that credibility hinged on verifiable evidence. He pulled metadata from the files, revealing NASA's internal cataloging markers and digital signatures consistent with equipment used during those years. These were taken with classified imaging technology, he explained. Prototype cameras built for deep space missions, not publicly acknowledged until much later. You can't fake these signatures, not with the tech available back then. Further documentation showed instruments registering energy signatures and electromagnetic fields far beyond known science. But one image silenced even the most skeptical voices. It showed the being holding a small spherical device, glowing faintly green, suspended in midair. Around it, space appeared to bend, as though the object distorted the environment itself. Subtle movements of the entity's hand suggested it was controlling the effect directly, possibly through bioelectric or cognitive means rather than mechanical systems. Even Ryan admitted his astonishment. "I couldn't close my mouth for a while either," he told the room. The remark underscored that, despite years of uncovering hidden data, he too was overwhelmed by the implications. But the revelations didn't end there. Several files depicted the being inscribing complex equations and geometric star charts. Ryan noted that none of the configurations matched NASA's existing databases, yet they adhered to advanced mathematical principles. "They're showing us something, locations or relationships in the cosmos we haven't mapped yet," he explained. The implications were profound, knowledge that could expand human understanding of the universe, or perhaps evidence that humanity was being gradually prepared for truths beyond current comprehension. When asked whether forgery was possible, Ryan was firm. He presented a comparative analysis across decades of files, consistent anatomical proportions, identical luminescent properties across different imaging systems, and metadata confirming creation through NASA's original classified equipment. The technology to fake this simply didn't exist in the 1980s, he concluded. By the end of the session, the group understood Ryan's claim. This was not random data pulled from the dark web, but decades of systematic documentation, evidence pointing to knowledge deliberately withheld from public view. NASA, the United States National Aeronautics and Space Administration, has long stood as the leading institution for space exploration and scientific discovery. Since its founding in 1958, the agency has operated under a mandate of transparency, sharing its most groundbreaking achievements with the global scientific community and the public. Yet, alongside its celebrated missions, allegations have persisted for decades that NASA conceals evidence of extraterrestrial life and advanced technologies. Ryan Montgomery's discovery forces us to reconsider those claims. If his findings are authentic, they may represent classified files that validate suspicions long dismissed as speculation. To understand the weight of his revelation, we must first consider NASA's public track record, remarkable in scope but not without gaps that fuel theories of secrecy. NASA's achievements have reshaped our view of the universe. The Kepler Space Telescope, launched in 2009, revolutionized the search for planets beyond our solar system, identifying thousands of exoplanet candidates. Many were found in the habitable zones of their stars, where liquid water could exist, a key condition for life. Kepler's discoveries suggested Earth-like planets may be far more common than once thought, opening profound new questions about whether life might thrive elsewhere in the cosmos. Closer to home, the search for life on Mars has been a central focus. In 2008, the Phoenix Mars lander confirmed water ice beneath the surface, reshaping scientific understanding of the planet's potential to support life. Later missions, including the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter and Curiosity rover, revealed evidence that liquid water once flowed abundantly across the Martian landscape. In 2015, NASA announced findings suggesting liquid water might still exist under certain conditions today, raising the possibility of present-day microbial life. NASA has also supported efforts like the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, providing funding and access to advanced technologies. SETI monitors the cosmos for potential signals from intelligent civilizations. No confirmed communications have been detected. The effort continues to expand in sophistication, keeping the question of intelligent life firmly alive in scientific discourse. It is in these very areas, extraterrestrial research and advanced technologies, that criticism of NASA's transparency has been most persistent. Some argue that the agency reveals only carefully curated findings, while more sensitive evidence remains classified under the guise of national security. Concerns gained new momentum in 2023, when a former intelligence official testified under oath before Congress that the U.S. government had recovered non-human biologics from crash sites. Statements like this, coming from high-level insiders, have added weight to decades of speculation that agencies, including NASA, possess knowledge far beyond what the public has been told. The question of what existed before the Big Bang has challenged scientists, philosophers, and theologians for centuries. The Big Bang theory remains the leading explanation for the universe's origins, describing how space expanded and evolved over 13.8 billion years. It does not answer what triggered the event or whether anything existed before it. The model proposes that the universe began from a singularity, an infinitely dense and hot point. Evidence supports this framework: the cosmic microwave background radiation, the observed abundance of light elements such as hydrogen and helium, heat, and the measurable expansion of space. However, the singularity itself represents a limit in physics where time, space, and matter lose meaning, making it extraordinarily difficult to explore conditions before time began. To address this, theorists have developed alternative models. One is the cyclic universe theory, which suggests the cosmos undergoes endless cycles of expansion and contraction. Each begins with a Big Bang-like expansion and ends in a big crunch, collapsing back into a singularity before repeating. A more advanced version, the ekpyrotic universe model, draws from string theory, proposing that these cycles are driven by collisions between higher-dimensional membranes, or branes, which release the energy needed to spark new universes. Elegant, cyclic theories face challenges. The second law of thermodynamics states that entropy disorder increases over time. If true, each successive cycle should be more chaotic than the last, undermining the idea of eternal renewal. Researchers continue refining the model to address this issue. The Big Bounce hypothesis offers another approach, suggesting that instead of starting from a true singularity, our universe resulted from the collapse of a previous cosmos, rebounding into expansion. Unlike the cyclic model, this theory does not necessarily imply infinite universes, but rather a single transition from contraction to expansion. Quantum mechanics expands these possibilities further. Some models propose that our universe is part of a vast multiverse, where quantum fluctuations continuously generate countless universes with varying physical laws. The eternal inflation model supports this view, suggesting that while our region of space has stabilized, other regions continue expanding, each forming new universes with unique properties. Stephen Hawking and James Hartle introduced the no-boundary proposal, which challenges the idea of a singular starting point. Their mathematical model describes time functioning like a spatial dimension in the earliest moments, creating a smooth, finite structure without a distinct beginning. Together, these theories blur the lines between physics, philosophy, and theology. They raise profound questions: is the universe eternal, self-sustaining, or does it require an external cause? What does it mean for something to exist before time? While our current tools cannot yet probe what preceded the Big Bang, ongoing advances in quantum gravity and string theory may one day bring us closer to answering this ultimate mystery. For centuries, the Vatican has pursued an understanding of the cosmos that merges faith with science, offering a unique perspective on humanity's place in the universe. This effort led to the establishment of the Vatican Observatory, one of the world's oldest astronomical institutions, with roots tracing back to Pope Gregory VI's 16th-century calendar reform that created the Gregorian system still used today. In 1891, Pope Leo XI formally founded the modern observatory, affirming that faith and science should complement one another rather than exist in conflict. First established in Castel Gandolfo, the facility became a center for advanced astronomical research. As light pollution grew, the Vatican built the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope atop Arizona's Mount Graham in the 1980s, enabling clearer views of deep space phenomena. The Vatican has long held that studying the universe brings humanity closer to understanding creation itself, a perspective shaped by thinkers like St. Augustine and St. Thomas Aquinas, who saw scientific inquiry as a way of uncovering divine order. This view was reinforced by Pope John Paul II in 1992, when he formally acknowledged the validity of Galileo's heliocentric model, resolving a controversy that had symbolized tension between faith and science. The gesture underscored the Church's willingness to embrace truth, even when it challenged older interpretations. Observatories, the Vatican advances dialogue through the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, founded in 1936. The Academy convenes leading scientists from all backgrounds to discuss issues ranging from cosmology to the origins of life, reflecting the Church's recognition that knowledge transcends religious boundaries. Vatican astronomers have contributed to studies of galaxy formation, stellar evolution, and the cosmic microwave background radiation supporting the Big Bang theory. Collaborations with global institutions have explored ancient stars and the Large Magellanic Cloud, deepening understanding of the universe's early history. Each discovery also raises theological questions. If the universe began with a Big Bang, what role did divine will play? Do multiverse theories challenge the idea of purposeful creation? Does the immensity of the cosmos diminish or amplify human significance? For the Vatican, such questions are not threats but opportunities for reflection. Its perspective holds that the more we uncover about the universe's complexity, the more reason there is to marvel at the intelligence behind it. Still, questions remain. Could there be knowledge preserved in Vatican archives that reshapes our understanding of existence? Ryan Montgomery's findings suggest there may be far more to the cosmic story than either science or theology has revealed to the public. Ryan Montgomery's discovery not only exposed hidden data but also highlighted the difficult moral and legal gray zones that ethical hackers face when navigating the dark web. By definition, ethical hacking often means crossing legal boundaries, gaining access to encrypted networks, databases, or systems never intended for public view. Under the U.S. Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, unauthorized access is a federal crime regardless of intent or potential public benefit. Hackers without explicit written consent operate on a fragile line where whistleblowing can be interpreted as law-breaking, often depending on prosecutorial discretion or political context. The risks extend beyond the law. Files pulled from the dark web are raw, volatile, and sometimes dangerous. Publishing them, even with noble intentions, can lead to unintended consequences far beyond the hacker's original purpose. Governments add another layer of complexity. Law enforcement struggles to police the dark web, shielded as it is by encryption and anonymity. In response, agencies deploy invasive tools of their own, tracking cryptocurrency, inserting malware into hidden markets, and conducting mass surveillance. These methods raise deep questions about the balance between security and civil liberties, privacy and due process. For decades, online forums have amplified stories of secret government projects and suppressed discoveries. Allegations around extraterrestrial life and concealed evidence have been especially persistent. Whistleblowers and insiders often claim organizations like NASA harbor artifacts, biological specimens, or signals from space deliberately withheld from the public. History shows why such claims resonate. The CIA's MKUltra program, declassified in part during the 20th century, revealed disturbing truths about human experimentation while also spawning countless unverifiable tales that still circulate online. Separating fact from fiction in these digital spaces is increasingly difficult. This environment poses stark challenges for ethical hackers. Should potentially explosive files be released if their authenticity cannot be confirmed? Could disclosure itself amplify disinformation designed to mislead? Some leaks may not be genuine discoveries at all, but carefully planted narratives meant to discredit or distract. Against this backdrop, Ryan Montgomery's work stands apart. Known for rigorous verification and responsible disclosure, he has earned trust in exposing truths responsibly. His uncovering of NASA-linked images adds a verifiable element to a landscape too often dominated by speculation and rumor. As we reach the end of this extraordinary journey into Ryan Montgomery's discovery, we're left with questions that challenge everything we thought we knew about our universe, our origins, and our place in the cosmic order. If these images are authentic, and the evidence strongly suggests they are, then we must confront the unsettling reality that fundamental truths about existence have been deliberately concealed from humanity. What else are we not being told? If NASA has possessed evidence of pre-Big Bang intelligence for decades, what other discoveries remain locked away in classified files? Were these cosmic formations created by natural phenomena that science has yet to understand, artifacts left by an ancient intelligence that transcends our concept of time, or proof of something divine that someone desperately wants to keep hidden from humanity? The mathematical equations and star charts demonstrated by the beings in Ryan's discovered footage suggest knowledge that could revolutionize human understanding of physics, cosmology, and our fundamental relationship with the universe. This information remains buried in classified files, accessible only to a select few who have decided that humanity isn't ready for such revelations. What do you think about Ryan Montgomery's discovery? Do these images represent natural phenomena, ancient intelligence, or divine design? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation about the most important questions facing humanity. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the channel to discover more interesting things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.